Erin, welcome to the Authentic Human podcast. I'm so
Thank
excited to have
you.
you.
Me too. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I don't know a lot about you. I literally got that tiny little uh, paragraph from Ashley,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like it's better that way, just because then it's pure and I'm not filtering any messages. But what I loved is that, you know, she was sharing that you're wanting to heal on help humanity heal on a soul level. And I'm like, yes, yes, we're so aligned. This is awesome. I love
Yeah,
this. So
totally.
welcome. How are you?
I'm so good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I'm
amazing.
just riding the waves. Yeah.
So the Authentic Human podcast is unique in that I typically will allow your soul to come through and all the universal beings, whomever happens to be around you supporting you. And you get to choose your own adventure. You get to decide if you want to ask your soul questions that you've been thinking about feeling into the last little bit or since childhood, if there's something that you're like, I really want to know,
Mm,
or you can just say, okay, what does my soul have to share with me? So it is a choose your own adventure. What would you
okay.
like to experience today? And
I
you can
love,
mix it up too.
okay. Yeah. I love a surprise. I kind of feel like I'm going to go with option two to see what comes through. There's nothing like burning question on my mind in this moment. So I think that's where I'm going to head first. Is that
Awesome.
okay?
That's brilliant. That's perfect.
All right.
Okay. So let me see. So, hmm, huh, um, so it's really interesting because I know there's two things going on. They're showing me a lot of change is going to happen around you, and it's going to be your foundation. So it's the base underneath. And what I'm seeing is it's a constant shift and change of your foundation. And what I mean by that is, and I know we had a brief like 5 minute conversation before, so I
Like,
know you're nomadic,
yeah.
but that's not really what they mean. They're talking, first they're showing me grass under your feet, and then they're showing me sand with tumbleweed, and then they're showing me walking on fire. And yeah, and what that's showing me is your capacity to, it's like shape-shifting almost. You have this, this ability to morph into whoever and whatever you need to be in order to, it's really cool. I've never really had a conversation with a shapeshifter on the show before, so this is exciting for me.
I'm so
Okay.
jealous.
So
Mhm.
what they're showing me is, your that's what they mean by change. Like your comfort zone is change, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, that's true.
it's purposeful transformation. And that's the difference, right? So on the outside to the rest of the world, it will seem nomadic and you're just sort of going with the flow. But for you internally, it's an inner knowing of this is what I need to do. This is where I need to go. This is what I need to follow. And that's where your success comes from, right? That's where your ability to, it's really cool. It's like you have this innate sense of, they keep showing me, it's like you can literally bend your body in half. Yes, yoga is great, but energetically, okay, it's like bending to whatever the energy needs.
Yeah.
So, what that means is you have such an inherent sense of universal energy, which, most people are walking around and they don't. They're so much more in their physical self, in their mental, right? And in their emotional being. And for you, you live more on the energy side. And so, and it's really interesting because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I live there too." And you start having a conversation with them and you're like, yeah,
Maybe not.
that's
Yeah.
not." And it's cool because, you're sitting there and you're like, "I don't want to hurt your feelings, but we're just not in the same place." Yes, it's making sense. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. I yes, it's awesome. I'm laughing a little bit with you sometimes, a little bit, because I have similar experiences, so I
Yeah.
understand. And it's
Yeah.
not right. And so you are, yes, doing what you're meant to be doing. However, you are meant to, you have to, they keep showing me the phoenix, but not because you need to rebirth, but because you need to shine now. Like, it's not about rebirth. It's about, so when they're showing me the the power of the phoenix for you, it's very specifically the uniqueness, the ability to withstand any and all judgment that comes at you and still remain true to who you are. And I'm holding this up because he is like right in front of me. It's glowing, right? It's this and the masculine energy, he, right? That's this another, it's this comfort level of beingness, right? Like, excuse me. So that's that's where you're going right now. And all of your opportunities, experiences, and challenges are pushing you to own isn't quite the right word. Allow yourself to participate at that next level. And it's funny because it's like you have a knot in your throat. It's like, oh, that's hard to swallow because it means I'm going to separate myself again from my friends, from my family, from everyone, my clients. It's that separation. But what they're saying is they're waiting for you on the other side. The right the right people are waiting for you to do this. And so it's about shedding the shedding the fears. It's not even that you have a lot of fear. You just have anxiety, right? Anxiety that comes from what's this going to look like? How am I going to be able to do this? And am I going to do it well enough to, how do I, am I going to do it well enough to meet your own quality control, so to speak, if that makes like it's that you
Totally.
have a high level of integrity, right? And so
Totally.
when you can't not at that level, right? Like when you get to this level,
Yeah.
when you understand universal energy as inherently as you do, you
Yeah.
you can't get there without having a high level of integrity. It's
Yeah.
impossible. So what they're saying is it's time to shed those fears, those worries, the um indigestion almost
Yeah.
of am I going to be good enough for this role? Okay. It's coming back to that place that recognizes this is your role. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You're good enough because you were created to fulfill it.
Yeah.
And as you allow yourself to embrace that truth, okay, humanity can follow, right? It's tricky. It's tricky being a way shower, right? It's a leader, but really a leader is about allowing yourself to participate in the universal experience.
Yeah.
So it's stripping away the pressure of all the ideals that you've decided
Yeah.
based on other people's opinions, right? And those are the fears that you're still taking with you
And the
because
programming.
right? Because you inherently know this is what you're meant to be doing. There's no question inside of your heart. But when it comes to the finer details,
Yeah.
that's when you decide, oh, well, now we should start questioning.
Yeah. Like the how. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I feel very seen. That is that very seen. I feel good. Yeah. Wow.
Awesome. It's making sense. Yes.
Yeah. Like big sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a few different universal beings that are going to come in and share different messages with you, um, specifically because of who you are and what you're meant to be doing. Okay. Are you open to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So um, the first one's Jesus.
My favorite. I love it. I
There
love
you
that guy. We
go.
hang out a lot. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, like that's, I love that you said that right away, because right away he's like, we're friends, we're buddies, and he wants to remind you, like when you're walking and you feel like you're stumbling, he's right there, right? And it's understanding and recognizing that he's done this. It didn't work when he came because humanity took it the wrong way, right? They took it as, oh, well, they didn't take it this way. They were taught to take it in the
Mhm.
sense of, right? Like it was very strategic planning that when
Right.
he came, he wanted to reignite humanity's faith in themselves.
Right.
And it was strategically veiled that humanity then put their faith in him,
Right.
hence the Bible. They
Right.
created a document so that they could force the belief, right? And
Quite a manipulated document at this point. Yeah, it's been
yeah,
a little bit distorted quite a few times. Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. That's what you're saying, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it was perpetrated by
Yeah.
then, you know,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and but it's important that we talk about those things because when you're having a conversation, like we're having a conversation with Jesus, and a lot of people's idea of who he is isn't accurate,
Yeah.
right? So you get to know him and you feel his energy. He will always show up for anyone who
Right.
chooses to call, to ask, to spend time. But when you feel his energy and you choose to learn from him, which is what you do, what you're good at, that
Mhm.
your awareness expands. This is what makes you a leader
Mhm.
because you know how to do that, right? Whereas most people, they have their belief system based on what we've been told. And so everything they feel is filtered through that belief system,
Yeah.
right? So the
Yeah.
difference is you've broken up with the belief systems that limit your ability to explore the universe. It's very cool. I feel like I'm talking to my like soul sister. I've never
Oh,
had this like depth of just awesomeness. So thank
I
you.
love that. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it. That's
it's
great. Yeah.
just, it's
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, you know, you're you're doing things that are mm, and I hard, that are hard. I hesitate to use that word
I'm glad that
because
you did. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it's understanding that there really what you're doing right now and what you have been doing for the past 8 or 9 years is showing people that it's not actually as hard as they think it is.
Mm.
That's really been the core of your message. You've been, facilitating it in so many different ways and sharing so much different information, but the core is you are helping them. So it's really beautiful. You have such an innate ability to feel the truth of who they are. And so what happens is you go into that depth and then you make them connecting with themselves not so scary, right? And that's the action, but you can see how when he says it really is about making it so much simpler, right? Like that's what you do. You make it simple. It's not dramatic. And
It's
that
fun.
it's so
Yeah.
much fun,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
when we can get out of the drama,
Yeah.
that's when you help people elevate to that level of soul awareness. And that's what you're doing. And so Jesus is like, I got your back, we can do this. And we're doing it together, but you're also doing things that he's never done before. So, you know, it's fun to do it with him, but it's also recognition you're still going to have to follow your own instincts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but he wants you to know you're not doing it alone, but
Right.
you are the leader.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Leaders go first, usually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like leaders have to follow their instincts. The greatest leaders, right, in history are the ones who followed their instincts and they created change, massive change. And that's what you're here to do is create massive change around the world,
Yeah.
right? And that's the part where it's like, oh, but what's that going to look like? And how hard is that going to be? And he's like, just let that go. Doesn't matter because that's not important. And as much as your mind is like, yeah, but it is important because I need to know this and this and this and this. And he's like, it'll fall into place because you're doing what you're meant to be doing.
Right.
And sometimes we just need a reminder of that, which is, really why we're together today,
Yeah.
having this conversation, really.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing? Okay so far?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Awesome. So the creator wants to come in. And I know everybody uses different names and different words, God, source, whatever. So I use creator.
Mhm.
And okay, we're going to do a ceremony. Do you want to do a ceremony?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So sacred ceremony. Oh, this is beautiful. So there's a bunch. There's about they're saying there's a few thousand beings who are going to hold space for you, like universal beings. Okay.
A lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That is. But again, it's recognition of where you've been, what you've been doing, and it's honoring that as well as preparing you for the next level. So we're going to shift some energy. They're going to actually take you from one state of being and into the next. Are you okay with this?
I mean, yeah, I'll let you know. Well, we'll see. Let's see.
You
Let's see
just
what
tell me
happens.
how
Yeah.
you're feeling along the way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is what we're going to do today. Okay. It's fun. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, that's where we're going. Awesome. Great. Okay.
Today. Sure.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, I can do this. So just uncross if anything is crossed. That's the only thing I will, just because it'll flow better. You know all about that. So it's really cool because the goddess has come in as well. So originally, this universe was created by the creator and it was a masculine foundation. Masculine just means comfort with who we are. And as this change progressed, he invited in um, the goddess who to balance out because we needed that balance, which the feminine is just being in the flow, right? So now we have a balanced universe and it's beautiful. I remember watching the ceremony live as it was happening quite a few years ago, maybe 17, 18 years ago. Anyways, and so both of them are here and they're both going to walk you through this. It's this journey of resurrecting the fullness of your soul purpose. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to, because it's been there, they're showing me it's been there, it's been around the edges. You've been dabbling in it, playing with it. And now it's time to own it and to become it. Okay. And
Yeah.
so it's really and truly about allowing yourself to accept your own greatness. That's the most challenging part, right? Yep,
Yeah.
100%. And so um the goddess is coming in and she's gifting you grace. She's gifting you and grace is the ability to see into the future while still holding room for the past, but not needing anything to be other than it is. And she's just infusing that into into the human physical cells, right? So as those are coming in, what's happening is any fear related to that aspect of you is being pushed out of the cells. Okay. Like I can hear popping. It's it's funny because it's not like champagne bubbles popping. It's like when you get your spine realigned at the chiropractor,
Oh,
it's like loud.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's how much of a shift it is. Like it's significant um realigning. There we go. Um and she's showing me, God, there's a lot of ums in this episode. It's hilarious. It's just because we're going so deeply into the energy. Yeah, we're doing a sacred ceremony at a hugely high level. I'm like, okay, let's do this today. Here we go. I love it. Whatever they throw at us, let's go for it. So, what's going to happen? So, they're doing the bottom of your feet right now. And um, you're going to want to clean your feet regularly over the next few days in particularly, okay? You may find that your feet almost get sweaty.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because you're clearing so many toxins, right? Because all of those fears in our cells,
They
right,
gotta get
are
out.
they got
Yeah.
to get out. They're toxic, right?
Yeah.
And so they have to leave. They have to go. And
Yeah.
so ultimately, you're going to be purging for the next 3 or 4 days. Okay. So you already know water, all those things, but just they keep showing me washing your feet, washing your feet, washing your feet. So, and as much as you can, even if you can, it's going to sound funny, but walk on the beach where you can be with the sand and the water at the same time, right?
Electrons. Yeah, totally. Do it
Yes.
all the time. Yeah.
Because even the sand is going to help open the pores even more. So it'll just really help it release, right? And it's getting flushed by the water. It's lovely. I love it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay. So now we're purging in reproductive organs. There's a lot of, um, they're using the word held, like held trauma. And this is childhood. Okay. Yep. And it's time, it's like purging. I can feel it. Oh, this is where, oh my gosh, it's like when you hear in your ear, I'm not good enough. I'm not good
Mhm.
enough. It's from that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's literally like that it's in the inner ear. It's very cool. Right now they're doing the entire pelvic. It's like it's really cool because it's your hips, it's your sit bones, it's like at the front, the back, like everything. And it's really cool because they're realigning. It's almost like your pelvis was sort of out of whack a little bit almost. So they're literally stretching it. It's like moving it into position. So you're prepared to take on the level of intensity that's coming at you
Mm.
because this is where we ground the way they're showing me, it's where you ground your well-being. It's where you ground your capacity and ability to withstand a ton of energy coming at you. This is really cool. I've never seen this before in this way. It's lovely because it makes so much sense. And they're just showing me, this is why most of humanity cannot withstand significant influxes of energy because they're so out of balance in that pelvic region. That's lovely. So there's there's some childhood trauma, there's adult trauma in there, and a lot of it is related to your quest in finding your own self. And because you've always had a willingness to participate, to jump in, to try everything, to do all the things, that's how they're saying it. Um, you know, you've got yourself caught in situations where you're like, oh, that's how this is going to unfold. Great. Okay. Right. And so that's the trauma that's being lifted out, being removed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm actually smelling cologne. Um, so yeah,
Oh,
there's definitely, well, it's
yeah.
really interesting because it's a strong male energy that's you're still carrying, um, but it's not healthy.
No.
No, because it it didn't fit and it wasn't meant to fit, but you hoped it would fit. Make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. So so what they're doing is you're still, how do I, it's funny because you're so powerful energetically, so powerful. And you are carrying his energy with you. Not all of it, just a part of his energy, a piece of it. And you're like, no, it's mine. It's mine. It's mine. I want it. I want to keep it. And we're going to break up with that right now. Okay. It's time. Yeah. So we're going to we're going to separate you from that energy. And what they're showing me is they want you to feel your vibration shift when his energy's not there. Okay? Because it's like the sadness and hardship, like the hardship from the idea of the separation kind of energy isn't going to be as traumatic as you think. Okay?
It never really is it? It's like the
No.
anticipated
The
is always the
anticipation's
first. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's like,
Yes.
oh, well, geez. It was really good to put that down. It was quite heavy. Yeah, no, I know.
Right? I love
Yeah.
you. Mm,
Ah,
you're fantastic.
I
So
love you.
so we're gonna we're gonna shift it. And what's really interesting is you carry him on your right side, both in the front and behind you. So your right is your comfort level with yourself. And it's funny because it's blinding where he is. So you can't look fully to your
Mhm.
right without everything being filtered through his vibration.
That makes so much sense. It's not because the right is the masculine side. Yeah. And like,
Your comfort level
oh,
with yourself. Everything is filtered through his vibration and energy. So that's all his beliefs, all his stuff.
yeah.
Your experiences are being filtered through that. Fun, right?
I never really thought about it like that. Like that's
Well,
really beautiful imagery to
yes. And it's very
really
unique to you because you're so powerful. You can strategically place energy where you want in your space. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
This was
Okay.
not
Yeah.
just oh, it happened to happen to be there. And
Yeah.
no, Erin's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to put it there. And that way I'm still carrying a piece of him with me everywhere I go. Right? So now you see what really is happening is you're filtering your life through his perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready to let that go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there, it's already moving. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
it's
I
one of those
feel
things,
like a
right?
big emotional release coming.
Yes. But it's so cool because it's the moment you know it's there, it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whoosh, and you let it go. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. So you're just clearing and purging like magic right now. This is beautiful. Awesome. So what's going to happen as a result of this is you're going to find it so much easier to communicate how you feel and what you see and all of the things. Your communication is going to explode. Okay. You're also going to find that you're going to start to meet the right people because there's no filter there anymore, right? People can come in, they can share their visions with you, and you're not looking for someone else's vision now. You're open
Right.
to your own.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You okay?
So good. Yeah. That's already been happening for me, like very recently. I'm getting glimpses into that. And it's, yeah,
Love
not an
that.
accident. Yeah. Here we are. That's so great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let me see. It's interesting because I do feel like you're probably going to get a pretty significant headache over the next 2 to 3 days. Okay. Yep.
Because I just had one over the weekend. I never get
Did you?
headaches. I
That's
never
so
do. Yeah.
funny.
It was
Okay.
weird.
Maybe it was for that.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like you might be getting another one,
Okay.
but it's not, don't get alarmed. There's nothing wrong. Okay.
Okay.
It's the purging and the pressure of the release because you don't want to take 6 to 7 months to release this. You want it done now. And so the level of vibration that you're going to, your body has to acclimate. It just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just physics, really, right? You can't vibrate at that level
Yeah.
in the body in the way that you have so far.
I totally trust my body. Yeah. My journey so far is, yeah, I don't ever question anything that it's doing. So I totally get it. Every solar flare is like, I feel it all. Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. So this one's going to be pretty significant. And we're going to actually, right now, realign your central nervous system as well to help you prepare for that. Because ultimately, that's your central nervous system is what it balances with. It's so funny when they use science words, and I'm like, I don't really know much science. So I'm like, okay. But the way they're showing me is it balances the neurons in the brain to allow for a greater expansion of the cells so that they can hold a higher vibration energy so that the cells can actually, right, move more inside each cell. The energy can move more. That's
Yeah.
the simplistic in my non-science trained brain.
No, it's good. Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're just going to do the central nervous system now. If are you open to that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Is that, yeah. We're just
Yeah,
putting light and love in this, yeah, situation. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly. It's raising your vibration, right?
Yeah.
And so ultimately, it's raising the vibration and a central nervous system upgrade. They go hand in hand. And you're going to feel the difference, what they're showing me. So you're going to go through today, you're going to get tired today. And then when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to feel like an entirely different human. It's just
That happens to me kind of a lot. Yeah. Okay.
right? You're just going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah. All right, everything's different. Where do we go from here? Right? That's so, let me see. Yeah. It's interesting because they're starting, it's in the heel, it's the sole of the foot, but it's coming up and around and going into like the Achilles heel. And then from there, they're going into behind the knee. I'm just following it. My hands do whatever they do. I don't know. It's talking with my hands. But it's right in behind the knee on both sides, both knees. And then it's coming around and it's going up the front and around the legs. So it's winding around. So all of it's really beautiful. It's it's like a matrix. Every time I'm shown inside of a human body, it never follows the anatomy that we've, been taught. It follows the energy lines, and they're so different to anatomy.
Mm.
It's so much fuller and it's all woven together so much more intricately. It's amazing. So, yeah, and now they're doing the front of the legs at the bottom, right in the front of on the shins. It's like, when you get that feeling, it's kind of like goosebumps, but not really. It's just like the hair stands on end. That's what they're showing me right now. It's like everything's electric. It's coming up from the bottom. So that makes sense. That makes total sense why they want you to be walking on the beach. So you're getting the sand and the water. That's beautiful. Okay. So it's coming in. Yeah. Now we're going into the lower torso. So all into the reproductive organs, but also the digestive organs. Yeah. And then we're moving up. So um, all of the organs, your lungs now and your back. It's like an expansion of everything. It's really beautiful because everything is getting a higher vibration. Each one of the cells is being expanded, right? So that the vibration it has more room to grow and move. Yeah, it's lovely. It's like before what happened was it was like you were vacuum sealed and vacuum packed, sort of each one of your cells, right? Inside of it, and the life was there, but you had to work really hard to maintain that vibration and that energy level. So this is what they're doing is they're expanding them out so that you can experience the fullness of yourself in your physical body. Okay?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And now we're up right in the throat. Yeah. So right in, and it's going from the throat now and it's going right up into the head. But it's funny because it hasn't done the fullness of the spine. It's sort of wound around, but not straight down yet. Oh, but it's going through your brain now. So it's like two lines. It's been two all the way through the whole thing. Yeah, so very balanced, which is really cool because that makes sense. That makes total sense why the creator and the goddess were facilitating you. Oh my gosh, I love this. So the two lines, and now they're going through your brain. The brain is always the trickiest. It takes the longest, only because that's where our memories are stored. That's how they're saying it the best way. Yeah. But now, you're coming into this place of massive growth. Like they're saying, just get ready because you ain't seen nothing yet. And and your brain is like, okay, hold on a minute. I've already experienced so much massive
Yeah,
growth.
we've seen a lot, trust me.
Right. And what they're saying is you ain't seen nothing. So it's being willing to go back to that humility and grace that she offered, but the humility, which is the surrender to let's keep going, right? And
Yeah.
I know you're so good at that, that there's gonna come a point in time in the next, they're showing me 8 or 9 months where you're gonna just be like, okay, enough. This is a lot. And it's being able to come back and remind yourself that you're on this part of your journey and you're on this journey because you're meant to be, right? This is why you were created. And when you come back to that place, that's when you need to ask, okay, show me the bigger picture because I need some grounding in the bigger picture to help me get through this next part of the next this next phase or this next experience, whether it's a weekend event or do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's going to really help you stay grounded in this massive growth. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they're just, it's really cool because it's like on the cheekbones, through like the nose, the eyes. It's beautiful. Like everything going on behind the skin, behind the scenes of your
Mhm.
skin. It's so beautiful. And it's cool because it's typically blue, but as it's going up in here, it is got like a purplish tinge to it, which
I
it
knew you were
doesn't.
going to say purple.
So funny because it has nothing to do with the chakra and all that stuff, but it is ignition, right? It's like, okay, we're ready
Yeah.
for ignition.
Yeah.
Okay. So uncross, take a deep breath, and they're gonna, how do I, they're gonna bring it all together. So it's just, if you want to close your eyes and take a few breaths and feel it, that's fine. If you want to leave them open and feel it, that's fine too, whatever feels best. And I'm just gonna hold that space for them to hold you in sacred reverence, ceremony, and recognition of your highest self and allowing yourself to participate at this new level. It is so, that's beautiful. How you feeling?
Beautiful. Yeah. That's a good word. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They showed me you're going to feel potentially like you're walking on clouds over the next, like literally walking in the clouds. Like nothing's going to be quite clear,
Yeah. Okay.
um, but it's going to be a completely different vibration. That's just you acclimating to a new state of being, really,
Yeah.
right? And it's allowing yourself to embrace the changes, which you're already really good at. But everything's going to change because A, you don't have that weight anymore, right? That filter that you were carrying, but you also don't have the fears of
Yeah.
not being good enough, right? They'll still live in your mind, but energetically, right? We've removed them with your soul. So it's not me saying, I'm going to shift your energy. No,
Yeah. No.
uh-uh,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
I'm holding space for your soul to do what you needed. And what happens is now you need to learn how to be in this new state of being, this new
Right.
vibration. And
Yeah.
it's significantly different.
Right.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt that coming, I think. And there was a bit of resistance. I think that's what my headache over the weekend was related to. I get really thinky think in my mind. My mental patterns, like my mental tendencies, like I'm very aware of them. It's interesting you're saying that because it's like I have shifted right this way in the past. I know that cloudy feeling where I'm like, I'm totally new. I have to now get to know this new version of myself or whatever this frequency is. But then you start to see the old mind chatter and or witness it. And it's like there's no attachment or reaction to it, but it's there. And you're like, oh, that's so interesting. Like I was just saying to a friend recently, I don't know how I even used to show up like in service because I am now so aware of my old mental tendencies. Like, I don't know how I did it. I like literally have no idea because I'm like, that's oppressive. Like, yeah. So I get it.
And yet, those experiences taught you how to get here,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
magnificent, really, when you think about it, right? And
Truly.
the
Yeah.
people that you were serving then,
Yeah.
they were at the level where that's what they needed,
Totally. We all got everything we need.
right?
Exactly. Oh, that's always the way it's working
It's
out.
so
Yeah.
beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah, it's so beautifully orchestrated, and we don't have to plan anything.
I know.
We just have to be open to it.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off and you're like, somebody, yeah, something else is going on here. Yeah.
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 So, can you tell me a little bit more about what you do?
Oh,
Because
sure.
I've
Yeah.
seen your
Yeah. I guess
soul
that's a good.
side, but
Yeah.
let's see what Erin has to say.
It's shifted quite a bit. Like over the years. Um, what do I do? I mean, when people ask these days, I just say things like, well, I teach people about metaphysics, or consciousness. I used to call myself a consciousness guide. Now I call myself a metaphysician. I don't like labels. I don't want
Yeah.
to have to label myself, but metaphysician is the only word that I have been able to find, because to me, it just means someone who really wants to understand reality once and for all, like understand the bigger picture. So what you're saying is spot on. And it's interesting too, because and this just happens in my work, like I bring everything back to love. Like everything is a conversation about love. Love is, I have a podcast also called Metaphysical Gravity. And so metaphysical gravity is the love that holds the energy hologram together. It's the invisible force that's like binding this experience into the physical. And so often what comes up in working with people, whether it's a group or one-on-one setting, I talk a lot about like masculine and feminine, like polarity conversations, because that's what's happening even at a cellular level for us, like down to like relativity, like positive, negative charges and stuff. Like it's all about union. It's all about coming in balance. And so everything you've been saying is really resonating. But that, I don't know. Yeah, like I just try and what do? I try and infuse love into everything. I like every conversation, every thing I create, and help people remember who they really are. I think is
Yeah.
also something you kind of touched on. Yeah,
Oh, it's beautiful. It's
thanks. Yeah,
beautiful. Oh my
I think so.
goodness.
Yeah.
So, how can people get a hold of you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they work with you?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram. I have a profile on Instagram. It's at Erin.Gunzelman. Erin.Gunzelman. Yeah. My website. Yeah. I don't know. What is my name?
I love that.
I am a
It's
new,
the same
I'm
as
like, I'm
me.
already in the clouds. Sorry. Excuse me.
I love it.
Yeah. Erin Gunzelman. I have a website. Yeah.
Awesome.
Um, and I'm starting to do more and more in person. Like I'm going to do retreats and things like that. Got a lot of plans in the works. So I'm really excited to connect with people.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one-on-one.
So they
Yeah,
can
big
feel,
shift.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, because you have that ability, right, to help them feel themselves. Like that's so powerful. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
That's like my
So,
favorite. Yeah,
yeah, that's your favorite thing,
yeah,
right?
connecting with
Yeah.
people.
Oh, same. It feels
Totally.
so good when you
Yeah,
can literally see right in front of you a human go from one state of being to another and just click. And you're like, ah, yes,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
I said all the time, we're like big balls of rainbow light. Like we're just interacting with one another. And it's true, like what you're saying, I've never felt so seen before because I see the world as like an energy hologram. The physical is fine, but I don't exist in this like literally I see like everyone's big rainbow light and sometimes I ignore the physical because of
Yeah.
that. And it's interesting how
Oh,
that
I've been
happens.
there too. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. You're like,
But it's
oh,
yeah.
that didn't
Oh
work
wait.
out so
Oh
well.
yeah.
Yep.
See?
Yeah. I've been on both sides where you go from one extreme to the other and you got to try it
Right.
all. You have to try it.
Yeah. Yeah. But just watching other people light up or reminding them of what's possible and like what they can see because it's not just them, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just someone, like if you remind someone of their light and then they shine a little brighter or they aren't afraid to like do that, right? Because that's kind of I think what I teach people is alchemy. Like I teach people how to rise like a phoenix because that's what I've just been doing continuously. It's just been my own journey. It's what I know.
I love
Yeah.
that the Phoenix showed up for you. That makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
how it all comes together
Yeah.
and it makes so much sense.
Totally.
Oh, so do you have any more questions or questions about anything? I know you didn't have any more questions. You didn't even ask any questions. You just got everything you needed.
It's
But do you,
receiving today. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Do you
good.
have any questions about anything at all?
I don't, I mean, I don't, I think you've answered the questions that I have, and it's because they
Awesome.
are unknown. Like the whole point is that there aren't answers to the questions, I think sometimes, some of the questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, or the answers are what you've already said, which is grace and humility when, yeah, because that's part of the journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I just keep thinking, yeah, like my dad, when I was growing up, he'd always say the grass doesn't grow under Erin's feet. And that was like the first thing that you saw was my feet on the grass.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't stay in one place very
And your feet
long.
were moving. They weren't standing on the grass. They were like moving on the grass. That's so funny. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
That
that.
was just like, yeah, he said that a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if nothing's coming to mind to ask, yeah, this has been
Awesome.
really just so interesting and fun. And yeah, I'm safe. I feel very held. Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you for trusting me and for not even knowing me and trusting me. And I love that. That's such a gift for me. And I appreciate your openness today and, you know, gifting humans with the opportunity to recognize that, you know, sacred journeys and sacred ceremony, they don't
Yeah.
need to be overly dramatic to be transformative.
And they don't need to have anyone in a hierarchy kind of position, like there's no one doing the healing for you. This is on you kind of thing. Yeah, the
Yes,
responsibility. Yeah,
right?
I
And it's
love
a
that.
constant, we're always given that opportunity. All we have to do is choose to receive it,
Oh,
right?
I'm a goosebump. Yes. But
Yes.
it's harder sometimes than we realize to just receive. Yeah, it's that feminine quality of like receiving. It doesn't always feel safe.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. But you nailed it today. You
You
just
nailed it. Oh,
thank you.
big hug. Yeah, thank
Same.
you.
I feel the same way. I just feel like I met a soul sister and I feel very blessed
Likewise.
to have had this opportunity. So
Likewise.
thank you. And let us know how you're doing, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah,
Stay in touch and let us know.
I would
Yeah.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Maybe I'll have you on my podcast. We can talk about the work you're doing. That would be amazing.
Awesome. That would be
Yeah.
so good. Thank you. I'd
Okay.
love
Yeah, I'll put
that.
you on the spot on your podcast. We'll talk about it. Okay.
Yes, when I get rid of this cough.
Oh my
Absolutely. Oh
gosh.
my
Yeah.
gosh. But
Of
yeah,
course.
I'd love to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. It has
Yeah.
been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Take good care.
Thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this conversation, learned something, or received any benefit that you believe will improve your life, subscribe to our channel so I can serve you better by attracting unique guests and starting even bigger conversations. If you know you're meant to change the world, head on over to michellevickers.com, where innovators and thought leaders go for guidance, wisdom, inside information, and support they can trust. Until next time, stay curious.